Hey awesome friends, I am Awesome Danny, and this is the SoundPeats Opera05. It is a true wireless IM that was sent in by SoundPeats themselves. They didn't ask me to say anything about the product in particular in this review, but they did mention that if this is something that sounds like you might like, there will be a discount coupon in the description for you down below. So I'm not necessarily here to sell you this product, but if it happens to be something you might be interested in, I do want you to save some money. So keep that in mind. The links are unaffiliated, so I get nothing regardless. So I actually really like this set. It is a single dynamic driver and 2 balanced armature true wireless set, which is a little unique because we usually don't get anything like that in wireless options. It's always just 1 dynamic driver and that's it. So spoiler, I actually really like these, and I'm going to tell you why and also tell you the issues I had with them. But it turns out Sunny doesn't like these at all, and maybe you can guess why. Put it down in the comments below. I'll tell you the answer later on in the video, and then you can tell me if you were correct. But while this is one of my favorite wireless sets, it's one of Sunny's least liked sets we have reviewed ever. So overall build with a Opera05, it is built actually very well. It feels nice, solid, little bit of heft, but not too much where, you know, it's uncomfortable or I'm always feeling like they're gonna fall out of my ears. The units themselves are actually quite large and they protrude a little bit out of my ears, but they grip really well and they stay on very well. It took me a little bit to get used to it being so far out of my ears. They kind of fit like regular IMs where the shell's just sticking out more than I would like them to, but they have to fit, you know, all the drivers and other stuff in there as well. So the case itself looks really nice, same as the IMs themselves. The finish, it's very classy and gives a little bit of a luxurious look and feel. I love the little copper gold accents on the neutral. It's like a black, but it has some sort of finish on it that makes it a little bit shimmery and really nice. Case is USB-C to charge. SoundPeats claims that the units themselves have a 9-hour battery life while in use, and along with the case it brings it up to 33 hours, which it felt accurate in my use. I've been using them for over a week now, almost every day, and I've only had to charge it a couple times, I think. So in the box itself, which is very minimalistic on the accessories, which you don't really need a lot. It's basically for any wireless set, you just get the IMs themselves, the charging case, which is also a carrying case, and then usually a cable and some extra ear tips. So you get 3 total pairs of ear tips and then a little USB-C cable to charge the case. I actually didn't like the stock ear tips too much. They were okay and they did their job. They grip pretty well, but for me, they tended to break seal every once in a while and just didn't feel as secure as what I'm used to. You know, with IMs, I usually enjoy a nice snug fit, usually deeper, especially since I usually use like the Dunu SNS ear tips, which are pretty deep fit. The Triclarions, which is the ear tips I ended up putting on the Opera5s, is what I ended up using. Once I swapped the ear tips out, it just made for a more comfortable fit. Again, that's different with everybody. Your mileage may vary. So if you have any issues with the stock ear tips, which are kind of shallow, I suggest trying a bigger one than you're used to. So like, for example, if you usually use small, move up to the medium. I usually use medium. I moved up to the large and that seemed to help. It's almost like it fills the canal better and grips a little bit better. So overall packaging is nice. The box was nice. The look and feel of the product itself is great. I love it. Fit, again, it's just, you have to kind of figure out what works for you. but the look is great. I love it. Overall, minimalistic packaging, accessories, but it feels complete. I don't feel like I'm missing anything in general, but personally, ear tips. I just prefer other ear tips, but usually that's something that goes hand in hand with this hobby. I usually never use stock ear tips anyways. So features of this device. This is something new because usually we test basic transducers that are just plug and play. This actually has features that we're going to go over. Big main one is active noise cancellation. I personally don't have a need for it. I rarely need anything with active noise cancellation, but after, you know, serving some of the people in my Discord server, I got a bunch of reasons why people actually look for this. So it was a little eye-opening for me. So the active noise cancellation on these is actually pretty good. I tested these by taking them out in public. My wife was actually out for a job interview at a hospital, so I thought, let's go test it out. And I went, tagged along, walked around with them outside, and then sat inside in the lobby, in the main lobby. So there was a lot of activity there, and just cycled through the modes, passive noise cancellation, then the transparency mode, then the active noise cancellation. Passive was okay, you know, just what you usually get out of any IEM, which for the most part is usually fine for me. Anything where it's like I have music playing and it's already plugging up my ear, more than enough for me. Transparency mode works very well. There's this guy sitting like about 20 feet away from me, loudly talking on his phone. With the passive cancellation, so just normal mode, I was able to catch his voice but not really make out what he was saying through the music. When I put it in transparency mode, it sounded like he was sitting right next to me. I could hear him in his conversation pretty clearly, not loudly, just clearly. And then putting on active noise cancellation just didn't make him completely go away, but it really muffled his voice, really toned down the volume, and with music playing, it made it very easy to just tune him out completely. And it was the same with any other stuff. There was a few people working the front desk, you know, chattering, blah blah blah, just gone. There was this guy that came by in a wheelchair, and it was really squeaky. It was a really squeaky wheelchair. It was pretty loud, and noise cancellation just took it right out. So active noise cancellation on these is pretty good. So on the device itself, you have touch controls. I was able to, you know, answer phone calls, play, pause, skip music, turn up the volume, turn it down. That's all on the IEMs themselves. So there's no reason for you to mess with your phone most of the time if you're doing, you know, basic minimalistic actions. So these use Bluetooth 5.3, which is pretty good. Connection was reliable, very solid. These actually took over my kitchen set. I actually love to cook and bake. I'm not sure if you guys knew that. That's something I discussed on Discord or with friends, and I like to listen to music while I do that. So when I'm in the kitchen, I like to listen to music, but my wife sleeps during the day because she works night, so I can't use speakers. I use, you know, headphones or whatever. Usually it was the Sony XM4s that I would use in the kitchen because they were wireless. Them being, you know, a big headphone made it not as ideal, especially during the summer months when it's very hot and I just be cooking, but then it's like I have these big headphones on and it's just my ears get hot, and I usually just end up taking them off at that point. But these basically took over that. So anytime I'm in the kitchen now and I want some music, I just grab the Opera05s and there we go. Easy, wireless, convenient music at good quality. Also, SoundPeats claims a 10-meter working distance for these. I'm pretty sure that's also dependent on line of sight or any other obstacles in the way, but I would have my phone here at my desk, and then I'd be back there in the kitchen, and then I would go over there to the restroom or into the bedroom to talk to my son or check on whatever. and no connection interruption at all. Just back and forth, phone's right here on my desk, charging or something, and music played fine. No issues whatsoever. Walls in the way, more than one wall in the way. It's good. Solid connection. So keep that in mind. You can make these sound however you want. So now going over the stock tuning itself though, basically it's just Harman. There's good amount of sub bass. It stays pretty prominent and then it falls into a tuck, which I know a lot of people don't like. I usually don't mind them if they're not too drastic. It does thin out the sound signature quite a bit and make it feel lighter. And then there's too much emphasis in the sub bass. So the sub bass is there, kind of feels this unattached from the rest of the sound. And then you get into the mids, they elevate a bit and then even out. So it's pretty linear on the rest of the mids. Then you get to the upper mids and there's a pretty drastic jump there. So female vocals are kind of shouty, very intense. I don't mind them, but I know a lot of people do. And then the treble, it stays pretty intense. Just overall, all of the treble, if you go into the mid treble and then the air region, it just stays pretty intense. I actually have to tune those down for my personal EQ. But again, basically overall it's Harman, sub bass, good extension. Mid bass is very impactful. This dynamic driver feels like it's really moving air. Even if you tone it down, it has plenty of thump, slam. So that's something I personally don't like. And it was really weird because there was, again, the bass tuck, but the driver is just, it's really doing work. So what I did was I untucked the bass a little bit, just a bit, and then I tuned down a little bit of the sub bass and then tuned the air region all the way down because it added just a little bit of unnatural sizzle, made the treble very splashy, and a lot of the female vocals just sizzle a bit towards the end, and it was just unpleasant for me. All right, so as you guys might know, for this channel, Sonny's actually in charge of cable quality assurance. And that might tell you why he doesn't like this set. It is wireless, so there is no cable for him to test, no cable for him to chew, no cable for him to destroy, which I like because I was tired of having to replace cables every once in a while. But he doesn't because now he's out of a job. Right, Sonny? Thank you, SoundPeats. So recap of the Opera 5. I like the set. It's highly convenient to not have any cables, to be able to take it with me on the go easily. Case is small, easy to throw in my pocket. I don't even need to throw it in a bag or anything like that. Sound is great, above average what I usually experience in a wireless set. And it has the added functions of being, you know, basically a headset, Bluetooth headset for your phone. So any phone calls you need to make, any extra functions you need with it. I do believe the entire overall package and performance is good value for the price. Like I mentioned before, there will be a coupon in the description below. There is a link for you to also purchase Opera 5. It is not affiliated. It did not influence the review at all. Please keep that in mind. My concern is that if you decide to purchase this, I want you to save some money. That way, you know, you can buy more stuff later because there's always new stuff to buy, right? Right. So anyways, I am Awesome Danny. Thank you, SoundPeats, for making this video possible. Thank you guys for tuning in to check out the review. And thank you, Patreons, for keeping the channel running. I love you guys. And I'm pretty sure Sonny does too, because you guys been buying him a lot of treats. You guys see this? You guys see these freaking buckets of treats that he's getting nowadays? So thank you guys. Anyways, until next time, you stay awesome, friends. Bye. He's such a fat ass. Do you see him? This is the only way I can keep him up here. If he has treats. See, look. Gone. Hey, dumbass, you missed a couple of them.